In a development that has sent ripples through both the legal and entertainment worlds, Anthony Rico, one of the most respected attorneys in high-stakes federal cases, has withdrawn from the defense team of music mogul Sean "Diddy" Combs. This unexpected move, made just days before Diddy's highly anticipated sex trafficking trial, has left many speculating about the reasons behind the departure and the potential ramifications for the hip-hop mogul's case. With such a pivotal figure stepping away from the case at this critical juncture, questions abound regarding what went wrong behind the scenes and what this might mean for Diddy's legal defense moving forward. The importance of Anthony Rico's role. Anthony Rico's decision to withdraw is not one that can be taken lightly. A seasoned attorney with decades of experience, Rico is a well-established figure in the world of criminal law. With a career spanning over 40 years, his credentials are nothing short of impressive. Notably, he has served as defense counsel in numerous high-profile and challenging cases, including up to 45 federal death penalty cases. Rico's expertise in handling complex and sensitive legal matters made him an invaluable asset to Diddy's defense team, particularly given the gravity of the charges that the music mogul faces. Rico's extensive experience in handling cases involving terrorism and organized crime speaks to his qualifications to manage the high stakes of Diddy's trial. He has been involved in some of the most notable cases of the past few decades, including the World Trade Center bombing conspiracy case and the 1998 U.S. Embassy bombings case. His background as an attorney who has navigated some of the most challenging and dangerous cases in the legal system further solidified his place on Diddy's team. Yet despite his formidable qualifications, Anthony Rico's sudden departure raises unsettling questions. He had been with the defense team since September 2024, accompanying Diddy during his initial arraignment and throughout the early stages of the case. Rico had played a prominent role in public court hearings, often seen sitting alongside Diddy and providing both legal and personal support. His rapport with Diddy was evident, with moments of levity and camaraderie that suggested a close, almost familial relationship between the attorney and his client. This dynamic of personal trust and professional expertise had led many to believe that Diddy was in capable hands. The mysterious withdrawal. The timing of Rico's departure, just days before the trial is set to begin, has raised many eyebrows. The motion filed by Rico, which was submitted to Manhattan's federal court, gave little explanation for his decision but was stark in its finality. The affidavit read, "Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs." The legal community was left to speculate on the reasons behind this dramatic move. For a lawyer of Rico's caliber to withdraw at such a critical juncture, especially without providing further details, signals that something more significant is at play. There has been no indication of financial disputes, and it is clear that Diddy's legal team is being paid handsomely for their services. Nor is it likely that Rico disagreed with the legal strategy, given his extensive experience and ability to navigate complex cases. Therefore, many experts have turned their attention to the possibility that the breakdown in their professional relationship stems from deeper, more personal conflicts, perhaps related to Diddy himself or the pressures surrounding the case. Some legal commentators have suggested that the tensions between Diddy and his attorney could be a result of philosophical differences or a fundamental disagreement over how to approach the trial. It is possible that Diddy's insistence on pursuing a certain line of defense could have clashed with Rico's professional judgment, particularly given the severity of the charges against him. In any high-profile case, attorneys must weigh the risks and ethical considerations of defending a client, especially when the client's actions may have caused significant harm to others. If Diddy's defense strategy was perceived as untenable or ethically questionable, The possible underlying reasons legal experts are divided on the reasons behind Rico's departure, but three primary theories are circulating. 1. Conflict of vision and strategy. One of the most plausible explanations is a fundamental disagreement between Diddy and his defense team on how to approach the case. In high-profile cases, particularly those involving allegations of sexual trafficking and other serious crimes, the legal strategy becomes critical. Diddy's legal team may have reached an impasse over how best to handle the allegations against him. While Rico has vast experience in complex defense cases, his withdrawal could be the result of tensions over the defense strategy. If Diddy insisted on a course of action that Rico deemed unfeasible or unethical, it is understandable that Rico would choose to remove himself from the case. Rico's withdrawal might also signal that Diddy's team is not adequately prepared for the scale of the case. Complex federal cases involving sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy require thorough preparation, and there is no indication that Diddy's legal team had made substantial progress in preparing for the trial. If Rico believed that the case was being rushed without proper groundwork, his decision to leave could be seen as a reflection of his professional concern for the integrity of the defense. 2. Pressure from the media and public scrutiny. Another possibility is that the constant media scrutiny and public attention surrounding Diddy's case have taken a toll on his legal team. Lawyers, particularly those representing high-profile clients, are often subjected to intense public pressure, and the eyes of the world are trained on every move they make. Given the nature of the charges against Diddy, the case has been subject to considerable media attention, which may have created a stressful and toxic atmosphere for Rico. In addition, it is possible that the legal team found themselves increasingly isolated as the case gained more notoriety. The pressure to win the case, combined with public opinion that has already been shaped by media reports, could have led to tensions within the defense team. If Rico found himself at odds with other members of Diddy's legal team or felt uncomfortable with the public relations aspect of the case, he may have decided that withdrawing was the best option. 3. Health and personal factors. Finally, it is worth considering that personal health or life circumstances may have played a role in Rico's decision to step away from the case. While this remains speculative, lawyers who handle high-profile cases often experience significant stress and burnout. Rico's role in Diddy's defense was demanding, and the emotional toll of such a complex and high-stakes trial could have taken a personal toll. If Rico was facing health issues or personal challenges, it would not be uncommon for him to decide that he could no longer continue with the case. The significance of the departure. While Rico's departure has left a major void in Diddy's legal defense, it is important to note that his withdrawal will not delay the trial. Diddy's defense team remains intact, and the legal proceedings are still scheduled to move forward as planned. However, Rico's departure is a significant setback for Diddy, both in terms of legal strategy and public perception. Diddy's defense team, which consists of multiple attorneys, will now have to adjust to the loss of one of their most experienced members. While it is unlikely that the trial will be postponed due to this change, the timing is far from ideal. With jury selection set to begin soon, Diddy's legal team will have to quickly reorganize and ensure that there are no gaps in the defense strategy. A precarious legal situation for Diddy's legal situation is already highly precarious. The hip-hop mogul has been indicted on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transporting individuals for the purpose of prostitution. These charges are serious and carry significant legal consequences. Despite his denial of the allegations, Diddy faces an uphill battle in court. The prosecution has amassed a considerable amount of evidence against him, including testimony from multiple women who have accused him of sexual violence and exploitation. Diddy's legal woes have been compounded by his time in detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center (MDC) in Brooklyn. The conditions at MDC are notoriously harsh, and detainees often face significant challenges in accessing medical care and legal representation. Diddy's attorneys have repeatedly raised concerns about his treatment while in custody, citing the overcrowded and under-resourced nature of the facility. As Diddy prepares for trial, the challenges of navigating both the legal system and the harsh realities of prison life have only heightened the pressure on him and his defense team. Growing complexity of legal cases, a shifting defense strategy. The legal battles surrounding high-profile figures have always carried a sense of intrigue and spectacle. However, when these cases involve an accumulation of allegations from numerous victims, the complexities of legal strategies become even more pronounced. One such case currently capturing widespread attention involves renowned music mogul Sean "Diddy" Combs. Combs's case has taken on a life of its own, not only due to the nature of the charges against him, but also because of the unfolding drama within his own legal team. The primary concern in Combs's situation revolves around the number of alleged victims who have come forward. With more than 100 complainants allegedly involved, this case bears similarities to mass lawsuits, akin to a class action suit. For the prosecution, this presents a unique challenge. Typically, when an individual is accused by a single complainant, previous allegations or accusations from other people do not come into play due to their potential to be overly prejudicial. In a typical trial, a judge would likely rule that these prior accusations are not relevant, focusing only on the specific offense the defendant is charged with. This is a safeguard to prevent a biased or unfair portrayal of the defendant. However, the sheer volume of allegations against Combs introduces an entirely different dimension to the case. If these claims are allowed to be presented in court, the cumulative effect could be significant. This situation echoes past high-profile cases such as that of Harvey Weinstein, where other victims' testimonies were allowed to be presented, only for the court to later rule that the inclusion of multiple accusers made the case unduly prejudicial. Weinstein case, a precedent for complex legal drama. To understand the gravity of Combs's case, it's helpful to revisit the Harvey Weinstein trial. Weinstein, once one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood, found himself at the center of a massive sexual abuse scandal. A number of women came forward with accusations against him, and their testimonies were initially allowed into evidence. This was a critical turning point in the case, as it helped establish a pattern of behavior that painted Weinstein in an increasingly negative light. However, on appeal, the inclusion of these testimonies was ruled prejudicial, resulting in the reversal of a conviction in one of the New York trials. The legal landscape in such cases is constantly shifting, and what may seem like a strong prosecutorial strategy one day may be struck down the next. Combs's defense team is acutely aware of these precedents, and they're trying to craft a strategy that could avoid the pitfalls that led to reversals in other high-profile cases. Despite this, Combs is facing what many experts believe to be a formidable challenge. With multiple alleged victims coming forward, the case risks becoming a spectacle, drawing attention to the number of people who claim to have been affected by his actions. This growing number of complainants could potentially shift the course of the case and expose Combs to a far more challenging legal battle than anyone initially anticipated. The legal landscape, civil and criminal battles loom. From the outset, Combs's legal team has been faced with numerous hurdles. On the civil side, the number of complainants joining forces in a class action-like lawsuit is nothing short of extraordinary. This is a rare situation, particularly in sex crime cases, where plaintiffs often face challenges in grouping together such an extensive body of evidence. Yet, as the case progresses, It appears that these victims are uniting to demand justice together. This alliance is not just a statement of solidarity. It represents a concerted effort to expose the alleged actions of a powerful individual who has operated within a closed, often impenetrable, world. One of the most unique aspects of this case is the possibility that the same approach might be taken in the criminal trial as well. Given the severity of the charges, which include sex trafficking, it's not unthinkable that the prosecution could attempt to present a broad range of evidence and testimonies. This could make for a highly charged trial, one where the volume of accusations might influence the perception of the jury. The role of sex trafficking charges in the case. Sex trafficking is a serious criminal offense, and the consequences of a conviction are dire. For Combs, being charged with such a crime adds a layer of complexity to his defense. Unlike allegations of individual sexual misconduct, sex trafficking involves an alleged pattern of exploitative behavior over time. It suggests a systemic operation, which could include not just one victim, but potentially many. This accusation alone may open the door to testimonies from multiple complainants, making it even harder for Combs's defense team to narrow the focus of the case to a singular event or victim. With the criminal charges looming large, Combs's defense lawyers face the difficult task of mounting a defense against what could be a massive body of evidence. The challenge they now face is compounded by the public's heightened scrutiny, given the number of high-profile individuals and corporations potentially involved in the case. This makes for a particularly complex trial, one that could set legal precedents for how mass accusations are handled in high-profile criminal cases in the future. The internal struggles, legal drama unfolds. Amidst the growing tension and uncertainty surrounding the case, Combs's defense team itself is experiencing significant turmoil. According to reports, the legal team has been in disarray, with one prominent attorney, Anthony Rico, recently withdrawing from the case. The reasons behind Rico's departure are multifaceted, but appear to stem from a deep disagreement over how the case should be handled. For several months, sources indicate that there had been a power struggle between Rico and Mark Agnello, the lead attorney on the case. Tensions came to a head when Rico made the decision to quit, citing irreconcilable differences over the defense strategy. This move has sent shockwaves through the legal community, as it is not common for an attorney of such high stature to walk away from a case involving a client as prominent as Combs. The rift between Rico and Agnello is indicative of larger issues at play. While Agnello is determined to press ahead with the trial as scheduled, others, like Rico, have expressed concerns that they simply do not have enough time to prepare. The magnitude of the evidence and the complexity of the case require a thorough review, and the lawyers disagree on whether May 5th is a realistic trial date. In fact, Rico has reportedly asked for more time, citing the sheer volume of materials that need to be examined before they can mount a viable defense. The fallout. What does it mean for Combs? Rico's withdrawal marks a significant moment in this legal drama. When a top-tier lawyer exits a case, it raises questions about the viability of the defense strategy moving forward. Will this division in the legal team signal an impending collapse of Combs's defense? Legal experts are divided on this issue. Some argue that the split could weaken Combs's position, as it highlights the lack of cohesion within his legal team. Others believe that Combs still has strong legal representation and that the case is far from decided. The internal conflict, however, certainly does not bode well for the music mogul. The drama surrounding the legal team's split has only added to the already intense public interest in the case. Some observers are quick to interpret Rico's departure as an implicit admission of guilt, while others argue that it's simply a reflection of the high stakes and difficult nature of defending someone in Combs's position. Regardless of how it's perceived, it's clear that the unfolding legal drama will be a crucial aspect of the case moving forward. Media and public opinion. The pressure mounts. As the trial date draws closer, media coverage of the case has been intense. The high-profile nature of the case, combined with the number of victims coming forward, has captivated the public's attention. Social media, news outlets, and citizen journalists have all contributed to a constant stream of updates, analysis, and speculation. For Combs, the media pressure is relentless. The court of public opinion is just as important, if not more so, than the courtroom itself. In high-profile cases like this, the narrative constructed by the media can often influence how jurors, potential witnesses, and even the judge view the case. The psychological toll, victims and defendants alike. The psychological toll of such a case is enormous, not just for Combs but for the victims as well. Many of the complainants have spoken out about the emotional and psychological trauma they have endured, and the court proceedings are likely to reawaken old wounds. These victims have lived with their experiences for years, and now they are being forced to relive them in a highly public and scrutinized setting. This makes the case all the more intense and complicated. For Combs, the weight of the accusations, the media pressure, and the internal discord within his legal team may begin to take a toll on his mental and emotional state. As he faces an uncertain future, with the potential of a lengthy prison sentence hanging over him, the gravity of the situation is undeniable. His fame and fortune, once symbols of invincibility, now seem to be no match for the legal storm he is embroiled in. Road ahead. What's at stake? As Combs's trial approaches, the stakes could not be higher. If convicted, the consequences for him would be life-altering. His career, his reputation, and his freedom are all on the line. And while many high-profile individuals have faced similar challenges, few have had to contend with such a massive body of evidence or such an extensive legal team break down. As we approach May 5th, the world will be watching closely. Whether this case will lead to a monumental legal battle, or whether it will mark the beginning of the end for Combs remains to be seen. The defense team's internal struggles and the growing chorus of victims claiming justice may ultimately determine the outcome of this trial. The legal world waits with bated breath, knowing that every twist and turn in this case could set precedents for years to come. In the end, this trial could be remembered not just for the verdict it produces, but for the lessons it teaches about power, justice, and the sometimes unpredictable nature of the legal system. As the world watches, Combs's legacy, once defined by his larger-than-life persona, could be forever reshaped by the outcome of this battle in the courtroom.